Okay, so welcome. Today workshop is about Power Query in Excel. This is a powerful tool that lets you connect, clean, transform, and combine data from multiple sources without writing a single line of code. So, in this workshop, you will be able to, um, the goal is to create um, import, transform data from different sources. You're also going to learn how to merge data from Excel file and a live O data feed. And then you're going to generate meaningful report, total sales per product and year. Um, so in here, you will work with two files. The first file is going to be products Excel, was an Excel file, right? We could call it products and orders, or also we're going to change the name, right? So it contains just a list of products. We're also going to work with the Norwind O data feed. It's a live online data service containing orders and sales information. And this is the file. So the first one is this is the file. So this is the file that is going to be located in your computer. So the key, the key columns that you need from this file you're going to extract are going to be product ID, which is a unique ID for each product, and we're going to use it later on to match the sales. We also have the product name, which is the name of the product, the category ID, which is the category it belongs to, the quantity per unit, which is a description of the product, uh, and how the product is packaged, right? So, for example, 12 bottles. And there are also, yeah, that's what we're going to extract. So those are the lookup values, the want that will match against the sales. Um, this is the file that you're going to extract from online source. This contains multiple related tables, right? So this going to be this table is going to be related to this table, but it also contains inside related tables. You're going to use um, the order details, which is going order details is going to expand it and collect from them the product ID, the unit ID, and the quantity, right? And you're also going to need the order date. So what is order date? Is where the order was placed, and product ID is the product ordered. Um, like that would be matching with the product. Okay, so the match with the products. And the unit price is going to use it because it's the price per unit sold at the time of the order. And the quantity. Quantity is how many units were sold. So those are the key aspects that we need to collect. Okay, so by the end, you will be able to import and clean data, right? Merge two data sets based on shared keys, and you're going to group, summarize, and calculate total sales. And then you're going to, at the end, load your results into Excel data model and optionally use it in a pivot table. So what are the steps? So from after you extract what you need, you're not going to extract import to Excel everything. I'll use only need what is required. Then you're going to create this column. You're going to create that column that is going to be multiply price, the unit price, times the quantity. And then you will get the new column, which is going to be called line total. this is the value of that cell, right? And then you extract the year from order date and group the data to calculate the total sales. And that will be the sum, that will be the line total, grouped by the product ID and year. Okay. This is going to be the result. So what are we going to do? Why are we doing this? Um, so in real world, uh, data often lives in multiple places. So we have an Excel file inside your computer. Sometimes we have it online somewhere else, right? So here we're going to be able to connect those both types of data, right? So, but you need something in common, a column that has something in common that you can make it related, right? So the first file, um, it's in your computer, and the second one is in an online source. And then you will be able to connect both types of data. You're going to clean and shape each data set, and then you're going to join them using product ID, which is the column, the common column. And then you're going to aggregate and transform the data for reporting. Okay, so the final outcome will be a single cleaned table called total sales per product. And we'll have the columns will be product ID, product name, category ID, quantity per unit, year, total sales. And then you will be able to use the people. Okay, so let's start. So in the beginning, we're going to use a blank data set, a blank sales spreadsheet. I'm sorry, I was touching this file. So let's have this file. And then from here, you're going to be opened in data. You're going to go and get data. And from that Excel worksheet, you're going to bring products. Okay, that's the first step. And then you select products here. As you can see, this is a little bit of a peek of what we have inside, right? And then you click on load. Okay, so as you can see, what we did, we opened Excel by clicking on data, get data from file and from Excel, from workbook, right? And then we located the products file, that the one that we need, and then we'll be able to double click in the products table in the navigation pane. We double click the products table, right? And then we opened, we'll be able to access Power Query if we click on here, right? In the navigator pane. Okay, so on the right panel, under this is Power Query, right? So on the right panel, on the query settings here, you're going to see the steps that we already applied. So as we can see, we click source, and source help us to get the file that is located in my computer, right? Then we selected products. That's when we use the navigation, right? We selected the products table. And then we change the type that that means that Power Query detected the column data types, right? So for example, here is telling you 1, 2, 3. This is a number, and this is ABC, which is going to be text. Okay. Okay. So now we can right click in each one of the, in here, we can right click, or we can click on the little um, icon that is in here. Like, I think it's a star. So you click here, and then you can be able to see the steps that you did, right? So click, and then you'll see the steps. Okay. So now we're going to simplify this new table, right? That table that we have here in Power Query. So that's one of the things. We can select product ID, we can select product name, category, and quantity per unit, right? And then we do right click and remove other columns because that's what we need, right? Then we go to close and load. Okay, so that will add a new worksheet with our clean product data. So you you didn't see it, but Power Query created formulas in a language called M that is by you will be able to visualize it to make it visible if you click the formula bar, right? So I'm going to show you um, when you go here, what you do is you can go to view and see here, and that's the code that is being created in the background, but also you can see it here in the in the formula bar. Okay, so we go load, and that's it. Okay, so now the next task will be to connect this data to an old data set, feed. So we're going to go to um, somebody asked me in the class what is OData. So OData stands for Open Data Protocol. So it's a web protocol and it's developed by Microsoft for querying and updating data um, over the web, right? So they all data lets you access and manipulate data like from a database through a URL. So it's similar to visiting a website. It's like an API for databases, especially useful for reading data into tools like Excel, Power BI, or other custom apps without having to write SQL or SQL or know the database structure. Okay. Okay. So if you go to again to in your presentation, um, in the presentation here, I show you this link. So that's the link that we're going to copy and paste. So copy and paste it. So we're going to go to data again, and then we click on get data. For this time, we say from other sources, right? And here you see from all data, right? Then you paste it and you click OK. Okay, so here what we need to do is we need to select um, in the navigator, we select, I think it's the orders table, right? Yeah, that's the one. Here is the product ID or the details. Okay, so this is the order. We're going to double click. And now here we're going to expand something extra, right? So as you can see, I told you that this is a table with relational databases. So if you see here, there are other tables here. So I'm going to expand the order details, this one, right? So we click the expand icon, which is this one, which is two arrows. And then we're going to unselect all of them. We're going to select only the ones that we need. Product ID, unit price, and quantity. Okay. 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 And now we're going to, okay. So what this does is this flattens nested data. That's the concept. We are bringing in item level details from for each order. Okay. So if we have that, we're going to remove the ones that we don't need. Okay. So from here, um, we're going to keep order date. So that's going to be this one. Then we're going to select um, order details products, order details unit price, and order details quantity. Okay. Now we go right click and remove order columns. That's it. That's what we need, right? Okay. So now we're going to need to create a new line. So we need to calculate the revenue per order, right? So we need to use to calculate this unit price times quantity, right? So how do we do it? We go to add column, and then in here, we're going to custom column, right? Custom column. And in here, we're going to use the formula that is going to be, okay? So it's going to be this one multiplied by this one, right? And the name of the column, we're going to call them line total, right? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're multiplying the unit price times the quantity. Okay, and then we click OK. Okay, that's good. Okay, the other thing that we need to do is that we need to right click here, and we need to change that for year, right? So we right click and we did transform. We select year and transform it into year, right? There you go. Super easy, super quick. This is Power Query. Okay. Good. Did that. And then now we're going to select, like we're going to group them, right? We need to group by product and year. So we're going to select, okay, here we also need to change the name, right? This one I'm going to change the name, rename. Where is rename? Rename, I'm going to call that year. Okay. And then I'm going to select year, and I'm going to select product ID. Okay. And that's what we're going to group. Okay. We're going to group those two. So this and this. And then I'm going to right click and create group by. Okay. And in here is super interesting, right? So we're going to do um in this dialog, we're going to name the new column. We're going to call it total sales, right? The operation will be sum, right? We're going to sum per year. And then line total. There you go. So we're going to group them. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to, yeah, this one it's okay. Let me see. Let me check. Um, yeah, I think that's okay. 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 Now we have the total, right? Okay. So next, we're going to, what is the next step? We need to rename the query, right? So on the right, I'm going to rename the query rather than orders. I'm going to call it total sales. And then I type enter. So at this moment, you have created a summary table showing sales per product per year. And that's ready to combine with the product info, right? So as you can see, we have two queries and we are going to combine. So that's the third task. Okay. Okay. So let's join data sets to make one rich table, right? Which is going to be products plus total sales. So we're going to merge. So how do we merge? We go to the products query, right? And then we select any cell, right? And in there, we go to query. Oh, we need to close. We need to close. Okay, merge queries. Okay, merge queries. So in here, you're going to say, I need to uh, to define which are the primary tables, right? So the primary table would be products, right? So that's primary table. Remember we talk about primary table and secondary table, right? So primary key is in this table is product ID, right? So in the second table, the secondary table, this is going to be total sales. And in here, I have to select the product ID, right? I'm going to select this one. So these two have at consistence, they have the same structure, right? Okay. So then I click OK. I'm not going to use fuzzy matching. Um, Fuzzy is when there is no total matching. Like let's say product ID has AB or something like that before. So it tries to match with the number here. Let's say the product ID here is 11 and here is AB 11. So fuzzy matching will be trying to to match a little bit like a portion, right? Okay, so I click OK. Okay, so now we have to expand this merge table, right? So in the new column, we have to use this expand icon, right? And I'm going to click here and I'm going to unselect all of them, right? And then I'm going to only select year and total sales, right? And I click OK. So that gives me year and total sales. Okay. Um, So here I'm going to call it, rename it, what's rename it? Rename it, I'm going to call it year, and this order, I'm going to call it total sales. Because total sales just doesn't make sense. Okay, so now I'm going to sort total sales in descending order, right? Sending, right? And why do that? I can't remember. Um, okay, so I'm going to rename this final query. I'm going to call it total cells per product, right? Okay. And then I need to load to Excel data model. How do I do it? Okay, so because if I don't have this, okay, so I can clean and load too. Okay, so instead of just loading to a worksheet load, we need to load the data model. So we go to here, and then we're going to say close and load to. So this little window will show up, and then we go to, in this dialog, we're going to check, add this data to the data model. Okay. So what does it mean? That means the data model lets you build advanced reports using Power Pivot, pivot tables, or even Power BI, right? Then, okay. Okay, so now you have it, right? So you can have here your final results. So now you have the unified data set showing the the product info. Um, oh my God, I think I made a mistake. Total sales per product. Did I delete something? Total sales. I think it was okay. Okay, so we have product info. We have only product ID in this case. Somehow I messed up the product info. We have the total sales, and this is the yearly um, total sales. From now on, you can create your PowerPoint or Power Pivot, right? So let's say insert Power Pivot, and then you click on year, total sales. Here you create a filter. You can create a filter from here, and so on. So in here you can also insert pivot graphs. Oh, you can have to, yeah, so we can select the pivot charts. Um, oh, I made a mistake. In some place I made a mistake. I need to figure out where, because I needed here the description of the product. Okay, let me see if I can find it. This year. Okay. Year and total sales. Close it. Okay, now it's okay. Now total sales per product. I'm going to load two. So and click on data model. There you go. Okay, so that's the end. We have the product info, like product ID, product name, category, quantity per minute, year, and total sales. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that's the good one. So if in case I miss something, I will uh, redo this video, but this is what is um, that I believe is correct somehow. Okay, and from here you can create your insert your pivot graphs and so. Okay, so thank you so much. So what we did is recap. Let's recap. So what we did, we imported Excel data in Power Query. We connected to online data, so that would be the old data, right? Then we did some data cleaning and shaping. That would be with the query editor. We also did the calculation and aggregating and created custom columns with that calculation. And then we merge data sets, which is merge queries, and we load the data into data model. So we can use Excel with Power Pivot, and that's it. So uh, maybe some you have some questions like why group by year and product ID. So let's think about what our raw data looks like, right? So after we import and expand it, every row in the orders table represents a single line item of a sale, right? So we have a product ID, orders, unit price, and quantity. Remember? So what we did was we ended up with multiple rows. So in the same product sold in different years, or the same product sold many times in the same year. So now you want a summary, not a row by row detail, right? So what group by do? When you group by year and product ID, what Power Query does is we collect all the sales entries for each unique pair of product ID and year, right? So performs what is called an aggregation, like summing up the sales. Your custom line total column that will be for each group. So that means if product one was sold 100 times in 2022, you get one row for 2022 and product one, showing the total sales value for that year, right? You can also ask why we rename the column total sales. So once you have grouped and calculated the sum, Power Query will default to naming your new column something generic like sum. So, but generic names like sum or custom will make sense when you come back to the data later or present to others. So we need to rename the column to total sales because it will clarify what the number means. So is the total sales amount. It also will help you to make reports easier, right? To read and analyze it. And also prepares your data for visuals like pivot tables, um, or pivot tables, visuals or pivot tables that will reference that column, right? Okay, so somebody asked, what is fuzzy? Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but um, yeah, like what is fuzzy matching? Like you're matching text fields that might not be spelled exactly the same. Like if you say if you have Vancouver, but in the other data set says Vancouver or something like that. So it will read a little bit, will make like fuzzy matching uses an algorithm to find an approximate match. It's helpful. It's helpful for what we call DD or inconsistent data. But also, you have to consider that it's slower and it's not reliable for numerical or structured keys like IDs, right? It's not so good. Okay. So again, you're matching clean structure product ID. So you should leave fuzzy matching unchecked in that option. But let me know if you like to see a case where fuzzy matching will be useful, like merging customer names from two different sources, right? Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you and peace out.